Good evening, Bears. Welcome to Rangers Radio for tonight's pre-match show. Rangers versus Alashkert, I think that's how you pronounce it. Tonight we're joined by Rudy Bear, the master chef of Rangers Radio.
Right, GB, how we doing?
Very well, mate. How are you getting on?
Aye, not too bad. I've had my full of the night and I was sitting having a couple of custard creams with a cup of coffee, so I'm ready to go now, mate.
Did I pronounce the team right there? Was it Alashkert?
Alashkert, aye. Yeah.
Alashkert, there we go. Right, that's fine. We'll get there then, mate.
You should have practiced it today, GB. But I pretty much got it right.
Front of the mirror. Listen, I know. Rookie mistake. Oxford will be all air that tonight.
He will be, aye.
So, are you excited to be back at the Europa League, mate?
Definitely. I mean, I think we've got to be, I think that the previous seasons we've certainly punched above our weight. If you look at some of the great results we've had, against kind of like Galatasaray and Porto, Benfica, stuff like that, there's been some brilliant nights, isn't there? I mean, we have to part the disappointment of the Champions League in Malmo. That was just, well, it is what it is. We failed. It's as simple as that. We can't keep going back to that now. So next thing is Europa League. Good performance tonight. I'm kind of hoping, GB, that we more or less finish the tie tonight. That's what I'm hoping for. I think if we can get a 3 or 4-0 tonight, I think the tie's finished. We can ease up a wee bit in the second leg. We've Glenn Kamara back for the second leg. His suspension will be up. Because after that, we've got a big game, haven't we, when we come back for the second leg. So hopefully we get it done tonight. Hopefully, we get a good performance after the night. But Europa League, you've got to be, there's some big teams in that Europa League now, so there is. And it certainly brings the finance in. So, hopefully we do the job tonight. Excited about the game tonight. Looking forward to it.
Hopefully, I'm going to steal some of Port Bear's Stato thunder here. So, since we do enjoy the Europa League, and we've got, since the 18-19 season, we played in the group, we got to the group stages that season. We've played 14 games, we won 5, drawn 7, and we lost 2. And then the 19-20 season, we got to the round of 16. We played 18 overall. We won 10, drawn 5, and lost 3. And then the 2021 season, again, we got to the round of 16. Overall, we played 13. We won 9, drawn 3, and lost 1. So it's you're right, Rudy. It's a competition that we really enjoy, and it's a competition that has gave us some riches to invest in the team. So for me, I only see positives going into this competition. Yep, the other night with the Champions League's a big disappointment, but there's still a lot to play for me.
100%. You have to look at it. That's the way you've got to look at it. Every cloud has a silver lining and all that. You've got to think, right, we're still going to be in European football. We're still going to be bringing decent finance into the club, which is really what you want, because only by doing that do you put better quality on the pitch, and it's all about putting better quality on the pitch, isn't it? That's what European. I mean, you get these great European nights. It's great for the fans, big names coming to Ibrox under the floodlights. The atmosphere's absolutely brilliant. But as far as the club goes, it's really important to the club, that we qualify for the Europa League now. So I'm well up for it. GB.
Well, you're talking about talent. Let's give the Bears the team for tonight. So far we've got McGregor. We've got Tavernier, we've got Golson, we've got Hollander, Bassey, Davis, Lundstrom, Aribo, Hadji, Kent and Morelos. Nice strong team there. Substitutions, we've got McLaughlin, McClory, Itton, Simpson, Patterson, Wright, Balogun, Kelly, Arfield and Barisic. I'm liking that, Rudy. I'm liking it.
Aye, it's a good attacking team. That good sort of looks like we're going to have some attacking intent tonight, the way we did against Dunfermline. I think listening to the show last night and the other night as well, we were talking about, callers talking about teams and stuff like that. That seemed to be a bit of one or two kind of out there teams. That seemed to be pretty much the team most people were picking. I think everybody glad to see Bassey's in there. I think one for him, he deserves it, because Barisic has not been at the races at all recently, and he certainly must have played his way into the team on last Friday night against Dunfermline. So, good strong team, decent bench, good bench as well though, GB, in case we need to chuck a couple of players on. I'm kind of hoping the game will be finished by half time. Maybe that's just I'm being a bit too optimistic, but if that's the case, if the game's done by half time, we can chuck the likes of Patterson and that one, get him some more minutes, maybe Kelly as well, because I like these young guys. They're really good young players,
I like how you're talking about the full team there, because like I says, there'll be a few in there that will be itching to get on, and for me, I think Hitton's one of them as well. That, like you say, if the game's nearly done, I would get Big Hitton on, because he, again, like Bassey, had a great pre-season. So, but I mean, that's just our opinion. So let's get the callers in, and let's hear from you.
Absolutely. Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Rudy, just going back to obviously the opposition tonight, they're ranked 179th. And in comparison, I've heard that Aberdeen's sitting at 151. So should this be a team that we are really worrying about tonight?
Absolutely not. I mean, I was talking about this with my mate yesterday. We kind of ranked them somewhere around about the maybe top end of the Championship, top end, possibly the Premier, Scottish Premier, around about that. I mean, if you look at, the last couple of results, they kind of squeezed through and stuff like that. They played Connors Quay Nomads, didn't they? And it was, I think it was 3-2 or 2 legs, something like that, 2 each first game.
Yep.
1-0 second game, something like that. Yeah, I kind of placed them round about there. And I'm not wanting to take them too lightly, GB, but when you look at them, and see whereabouts, they play their football and stuff like that, you think about, what they've done in football before, which is not really a hell of a lot, in all honesty. We placed them kind of around about there. Top end of the Championship, bottom end of the Scottish Premier. We should have absolutely no problem tonight. We shouldn't have GB, honestly. I mean, Ibrox will be bouncing, there'll be a big crowd there, the players should be totally up for this. It just shouldn't be a problem.
No, you're right, buddy. I think, though, like you say, though, we have to give the respect the deserves, because I think the Armenian champions, is that right?
Yeah.
So, but saying that, looking at their league form so far, with the 2 games they've played, they've been heavily beat. There's been a 3-0 and a 2-0. Yeah. So it seems to me that their defence is a team that they can. I mean, our team should be definitely looking to exploit tonight.
Aye, the defence is apparently their goalkeeper. I did a bit of reading about them today. Apparently their goalkeeper and their defence can be absolutely shambolic at times. They've got 1 or 2 decent players in midfield. They've got a guy who plays on the wing. Don't ask me to play at the moment, but apparently they've got a really decent player who plays on the wing. I think he plays wide left for him and likes to really hug the touchline, and moves quickly up the wing. They've got the guy, I think he's 33 or something, but he plays in their city. He's like their anchor in the centre of midfield. He's a decent player. There's been a load of Russian clubs try to tempt him away, but he's never wanted to leave the club. And then up front, they've got a guy who plays up front for them who can be pretty good at putting the ball in the back of the net, but considering the firepower we've got at midfield and up front for us, I wouldn't think we'd have a problem tonight. But as I said, don't want to take them too lightly. Don't want to take them today, and hopefully the Rangers players don't take them too lightly either, GB,
No, totally understandable. Rudy, you made a good point at the start of the show. I personally think as well it's important that the game is finished tonight.
Yeah.
I think the travelling next week isn't going to be very helpful for us. Obviously, you don't want to look too far ahead, but end of the day, we have got an Old Firm game coming up next week as well. So if we are able to to do the business tonight, and I'm sure our fans are going to be cheering them all on. And at Ibrox tonight, 50,000 strong with the looks of it. I think if they can get the game done and dusted, then next week we can. I'm not saying play a weaker side, but I think the boys that are maybe on the fringes, then they should be able to take care of the job for us with an eye in the game.
Yeah, you've certainly got a big squad there, big European squad. And like, if you just look at the bench tonight, you've got likes of Patterson, Wright, Balogun, Kelly, Arfield, Barisic, McLaughlin. You've got all these guys sitting at him as well, as you mentioned earlier, Atton, who had a really good pre-season. I think he scored 3 goals in 4 games or something. So you've got all these guys sitting on the bench. If the game's finished by the final whistle tonight, then there's absolutely no problem with putting these guys in next week and the Lego or the in Armenia, there shouldn't be really, should there? No. These guys should be able to step up, and if you're finished the game tonight 3 or 4-0, something like that, right? You just go there and you play the 90 minutes out, and I'm sure these guys are capable of doing that if needs be, because as you say, 3 days later, it's a long trip. I think it's something like a 3,000-mile round trip or something like that. It's crazy, isn't it, when you think about that, Jamie, as well? 3,000-mile round trip, And then 3 days later, we've got the Old Firm match. So these boys on the bench tonight, they should be the ones who should step up next week, as long as the game gets finished this week.
You're saying step up. I think the night, Big Bassy, is it time maybe for him to step up, because it could be an opportunity for him to cement a place in the team now.
I see absolutely no reason why. As I said, I was impressed with him against, I think I said this the other night, just against Dunfermline, because a lot of people say, well, it was just Dunfermline. Well, all right, then, fair enough. But it was the same in the pre-season friendly. I thought he was excellent in that game against Real Madrid as well, Bassey. He's bulked up even. I mean, he was a big boy to start with last season. It looks like he's got even bigger over the summer. And his cross and for Hadji's header was superb. It was a brilliant cross. And the cutback for John Lundstrom's goal against Dunfermline as well was brilliantly worked, I thought, too. But this is something that he said that they've been working on. They've told him they want him to add that to his game. So, look, see if he goes out and he plays well tonight, GP. What do you do? Take the jersey off him? I wouldn't. I would leave him with it for a bit and see how he gets on. Give him a run of games,
Well, that's it, and it could make Barisic hungrier to get back in the team as well. So it'll up his game, and this is what the manager wanted in the first place, isn't it? He wanted that competition. He wanted, if somebody comes in, the other player's got to come in, take that jersey, and it's going to be hard for that other player to get it back off him again. So, definitely.
He spoke about it several times, the manager, hasn't he? Having 2 good players for each position, and whoever's got the jersey. Well, if you've not got the jersey, you've got to fight and train hard. I mean, you get your opportunity. You've got, you've got to fight for that jersey. You've got to train hard, and when you get your chance, you've got to make it count. And it pushes. You push each other on. 2 players. Like Tavernier's new goal, young Patterson, pushing him on in the right back position as well. So hopefully, if Bassey plays well tonight, which I fully expect he will do, Barisic will be sitting there thinking to himself, right, I've really got to start up my game here.
Aye. Staying with the defence, Big Hollander's back in the defence for the night. A lot of people criticise the manager for no starting Hollander in the Champions League games. The second game. So. Yeah. A good move by the manager tonight again, putting Big Hollander back in.
I think so. I couldn't understand why after the first leg against Malmo, because Stevie G specifically mentioned Big Philip Hollander, didn't he? He said how good a game he'd had, and then for the second leg at Ibrox, he dropped him and put Balogun in. I think the thinking with Balogun is he's a wee bit quicker, but he's, in my opinion, that's fine, right? I get that, right? I just think Hellander's the better football player, GB. I would never have dropped Hellander at the team. He would always be in the team. And I think Goldson and Hellander, when they're on it, are a perfect centre-back partnership for me. So it's good to see him back tonight, definitely.
He's more football aware, is that the right word to say?
Yeah, definitely.
Aye. Yeah. So, good partnership. And then, again, Tavs had a rest for the other night there, so I'm hoping for him to come back in and give that performance that... I'm not saying keeps people quiet, but I mean, there is a lot of noise around Patterson to get that jersey now. But I think this is an opportunity for Tav to cement his place back in the team again, because he has came in for criticism. But I think the night, if he steps up and he gets some whipping crosses into the box, I think that will quieten down some people in that department, mate.
I think with Tav, he's had a poor start to the season. You can't deny that, GP, unfortunately,
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't really know. But he has had a poor start to the season. But we know what Tav's capable of. He's seen him last season, all the goals, all the assists, His crossing of the ball was exceptional at times, and he knows how to score a goal himself, So remember his free kick and stuff like that as well, which was just brilliant. He's capable of all of that. He's in a wee bit of poor form, he's in a wee slumping form just now, and hopefully tonight he kicks back in again and gets himself back up, and his form improves tonight. Hopefully, I mean, there's no better night for him to do that, is there, than tonight?
That's what I was going to say. It's another perfect game for him, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's there in front of the place will be almost packed out tonight. There'll be a lot of noise tonight. It's a European night, so as you say, he's got his doubters, and I have been one of the doubters in the last few years, but I don't think you can be anybody negative at all about Tavernier's season last season. I thought he was brilliant last season.
I think we're being joined by, is it Andy Felix?
Hi, it's Gary. Rudy, how you doing?
All right,
you
right, Andy. Evening,
I know, but Chins wants to know what you had for your tea, by the way.
a big pile of sausage and mash tonight, Andy. It was magic.
I thought I'd come on the show like he's giving me grief on the feed late enough, so I've had enough of him all day. I think that's a strong enough team, isn't it? Late enough. I mean, it didn't really differ for what we were all saying, really, did it?
Yeah.
I mean, apart from one or two either way. I think what you're saying is totally right. I mean, as I say, I don't know nothing about them right enough, but I'd be pretty disappointed if we don't, kill this tight tonight. What do you think, boys?
I think sorry, on you go, James.
No, Rudy, carry on, man.
I think you're pretty much right, Andy. That was more or less the team. I was saying that to GP when I read the team out. I think that's pretty much the team most people were picking there the last night or two when I was listening to the show as well, That's certainly the team I would have picked, looking at the bench as well. It's a pretty strong bench we've got there too, but that would be my starting 11 for definite. And I think you're right. We shouldn't really, we were discussing it just at the start of the show, me and GB, where we kind of thought Alashkert were as far as Scottish football goes. I kind of put them like top of the Championship in Scotland or bottom of the Scottish Premier League, round about there. We've got the talent.
You're right,
so for the talent we've got, we shouldn't have a problem. You're right, Andy.
Yeah, I fancy us to sort of do them pretty sweet. Like, I think it was set about, we come out with that intensity like we can do, and like we used to do last season, where we usually get that quick goal, follow it up with a second. A big crowd tonight roaring them on right enough. We could take them really out, but there's always that wee worry in the back of your mind that they're not going to start off right. But I'll be very surprised with it. Just a bit worried that some of them, as I said last night, I'm, a bit like after the Lord Mayor's fuel, like if some of them can't get up, some of the players that have let us down. But even if they were ropey, I would still expect them to get 2 or 3 on a bad night, So I hope I'm not sort of jumping the gun there right enough, and we're underestimating them and all that, because European football is nothing like it used to be back in the day. You got teams when I was following, you battered them, that kind of level. You were saying 6s and 7s off them, but we'll see.
Not at all, Andy. Andy, just cut across here. I think we've been joined by another caller. Is it Carol? Carol, Ian?
Aye, it's Carol.
Carol, how are you getting on, man? The floor's yours.
Oh, I'm all right. Everything all right. Just a wee point to pick up earlier on. I think it was Rudy. Right, we've been talking about match fitness, haven't we, for the last couple of weeks. Oh, they're not up to speed, Yeah. If we win the night well, we've got Ross County on Sunday. And then next week, we've got this mob again. And we've got that mob, the other one, I don't like saying their name, and the next Sunday. But why should you put out a weekend team for the next away game in Europe if we're not up to match speed or here in our own league?
So what would you do, Carol? Would you put a first?
Well, I get them up to match speed. You play your strongest team every game.
Right, okay.
I mean, I don't want wholesale changes if he's resting people, aye, but no 8, 7 or 6, you know what I mean?
Right.
Carol,
they go wrong in football.
Carol, we'll take your point round. So go to Andy. What do you think, Andy? Always play your strongest team, or have we got a squad there that's strong enough to cope with the demand, because that's what we keep hearing from the manager. It's not a team, it's a squad.
Yeah, I think there's no such thing as fringe players with what we've got at the moment. There's two teams there. What he has to do is find the best team out of it. I do agree with Carl. I've said it before. I think your strongest team, or at least your spine of your team, other than suspensions and bookings or out like that, or injuries, I think should play in your team, and then obviously the ones come in for suspension and things like that. Chopping and changing, making 4 and 5, as I said a couple of weeks ago, will bite us on the arse. We can't do that. He now has to start finding a balanced team. So yeah, I do agree with Cal. Yeah, I would like to see us being more, at least that spine being there every week, so that we know what the score is like.
Rudy?
I agree with the spine of the team thing, but I also think when you get guys like Patterson and Wright, Kelly on the bench, Atton on the bench, I think you've still got to give these guys some minutes as well, So if you get the opportunity next week in the second leg, this is provided the game's finished tonight after 90 minutes. We've got a good enough result to think, right, we can park that now. That's the way we'll go into Ross County. I still think you've got to give these guys, as I said, like Atton, Patterson, Wright, Kelly, these guys, you've got to give them some time in these games as well, because they've got to get up to match fitness. You can't just have them sitting on a bench and then call on them for 10 minutes every now and again. That's not going to get them match sharp. So, providing we get a decent result tonight, providing, we think the game is more or less finished, or the tie's completed more or less, I still think we can go there and make 1 or 2 changes, maybe 3 changes. I'm not talking about wholesale changes through the whole team. I'm only talking about 2 or 3.
Aye, good points, lads. We've been joined with Wally. Are you there, mate?
How you doing?
Floor's yours, buddy.
Happy New Year, Ox. Been a wee while.
Ox is going to love you for saying that, mate. He's got a nice...
I phoned Jimmy tonight because I wasn't sure if there was a show on or no. See, the last game, I managed to get a hold of Jimmy. He must have been outside at the... I can't remember. You used to call it something. No, but the snack bar and that is.
The bistro.
Aye, the bistro. Aye. And as I say, I didn't know what was happening, but it sounded as if there was somebody in the louding or something. I got through to somebody, but although there was no show on, but the phone was kind of on, if you know what I mean.
Right.
As I say, obviously we've got to play our strongest team. I mean, it's common sense. We've always said that, but again, you look at some of Gerard's decisions, him and Michael Beale, you see yourself, well, they obviously know what they're doing. I thought, see, the first game against, I know it's to go back the way with Marvel, if Big Patterson's playing, we don't lose 8 goals. You know what I mean? But again, you've got to pay Tav in front of him because he's the captain and blah, blah, blah. But he was talking about playing the 2 of them together. Whether that is feasible or no, I don't know. And as I say, that boy Lundstrom, for him to get the goal on Friday, obviously it was only Dunfermline. But the boy certainly looks as if he could be a player because he can put himself about. But he's not tested in Europe either. So it's one of them, isn't it?
Good point, Wally. In fact, I'm going to talk about Lundstrom. We'll take that round everybody. Carl, this is a game for Lundstrom to kind of show his class tonight, and again, another player that could cement his position. What do you think?
I'm not sure if he's got class. I've never really seen him. I mean, I've only seen him playing for Rangers. So I don't bother about English football, So class is something. I'm sick of hearing the world class. Every time you put on the English Premier League, they're all world class, and half of them haven't been to a World Cup. You can't be world class without being in a World Cup, That's how I look at it. I'm not into all this European, they're great class. Class is only as good as your last game to your next game. It's like being the champs one day.
Right, go to Andy.
No, I don't fancy him at all. Right enough. I know it's early doors, but I don't see it in him at all. Like the way he pulled out with that goal we lost over there, I kind of worry when we play the bigger games with him. I'm not convinced with him at all. Hope he proves me wrong, but I'm not convinced with him. I know you shouldn't pick off early doors, but nah, not for me. I don't fancy him.
Look at it. Sorry for it. Look at Big Islander. How many times did he make mistakes and it cost us goals to start with?
Carl, you need to wait and give everybody their turn, mate. So just I'll come back round, mate. So I'll go to Rudy, mate.
As far as Lundstrom's concerned, I think he is a decent player. I think he's more than decent. I think he had a really good season doing the English Premiership. But He hasn't shown it up here as such. I'm just hoping that his goal let it go, which was a really well taken goal. All right, unfairly, we know that. We've heard that, right? But he took his goal really well. I'm kind of hoping GB that'll kick him on a wee bit now. I'm hoping that as each game goes by, he will improve. He'll get better. He'll have a better understanding in the midfield. He said he's selling his interview. He's doing a different role to what he was used to doing when he was down south. So hopefully he's learning as each game goes by. What he needs, if he's in the first starting 11 tonight, which he is, he needs another good performance tonight, though. He can't go in there and play. And who said that? Somebody said about shying away from the ball in Malmo. I was going to have my nut with that, because that's not what you wear a Rangers jersey for. You don't shy away from the ball. You take the ball. You take it right in the face if you have to stop it figuring in. He never done it that night, but he's got an opportunity tonight to improve again and to show the Rangers fans that he is capable of playing in that Rangers midfield.
Carl, come back in, man.
Aye. Oh, I mean, a great goal against Dunfermline, but it doesn't matter if it was against Dunfermline. The goals are still the same size. It was a great goal. Any game that would have been a great goal.
Aye. No.
The goals stay the same. It doesn't matter what team you play.
That's a good point, Carl. Aye. Yep.
Aye. Well, to put that to bed, for me, I think what it says, I see this as a perfect game for a few players tonight, and Lundstrom is another one that can probably make up for that. What I say, shying away for the ball. I think if that boy goes out tonight and he's another good performance like the Dunfermline game, then it only, what I say, makes his position stronger. And like Rudy said there, he has came for a different kind of way of playing with Sheffield United. They're probably more sitting back and trying to stop the attacks, whereas he's come into a team where it's all attack. It's constantly having to win games. So it is a different mentality, and like I say, he is only new into the club. So let's give him time and give him the backing he needs tonight. On to another player for our team up front tonight. Big Morelos is back tonight. How important is he going to be for us? And I'll take that one to Wally.
Excuse me. Sorry, lads.
That's all right.
It's no COVID, honest. There's no COVID.
I thought that was the yee-haw when I announced
Morelos. No, I had a yee-haw for a wee while, I'll tell you. That's another story.
Right, so Wally, Morelos, how's he going to play tonight for us?
Well, obviously he's our number one. I mean, I know Itten has scored the odd goal and different things, and obviously Big Roof and all can do a job, but he's the one that's going to ragdoll all the central defenders about, or the defenders, and give the rest of the team a chance. And obviously it was pretty selfish, I think, to start with, but he's definitely more a team player now, and it's going to give anybody else a chance. You know what I mean? Because he can hold the ball up, he's strong, and you know what he's capable of. Plus he can still hit a shot. I mean, he's been unlucky the last couple of times. When he scored the goal the other week, we should have won that tie, there's no doubt about it. But again, because they were pussyfooting about and made that stupid mistake and they lost the goal, you can't make that kind of mistakes. And what's annoying is the fact that they're not as good as a Leverkusen or a Porto, nowhere near it. But we gave them the tie, which is unfortunate. But we lost the tie over there, as I say. That 5 minutes of madness. And to me, it was like watching McCoy's team. It was almost as if they didn't even know each other. They were like play with each other before.
Wally, stick to the night's game. Stick to the night's game about Morelos, mate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got to play him. And this carry on. I mean, he was playing some charity game for Colombia, and we know he does an awful lot of stuff for charity that doesn't get the headlines and all that. He does it all off his own back, and then, of course, he had to isolate. Never mind running around the car park at Glasgow Airport. I don't know what that was all about. But as I say, he's our strongest player, and I think he'll definitely come good for us. Plus, as I say, he brings the rest of the team, you know what I mean, in. Whereas before, he was quite selfish before when you think about it. But he's merely a team player now, I think.
Yep. Andy?
And we can't do without him. That's my opinion, anyhow.
Yep. Andy?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, right enough, because what do you call it? I think he's key to everything we do up top, like especially when Roof's no playing right enough. So I've got no problem. He's a different player now. He's a different beast, and if he's on form tonight, he should rattle. He's about shooting, and hopefully, as well as you said there, get behind him and open it up for other guys to come in and score goals. So yeah, I've got Willie more or less covered everything I was going to say, to be honest with you. Apart from that, a good hee-haw would kill me, by the way, Willie, at the minute. So I'll stick with just watching the game.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I'll stick with the game.
Aye, well, aye. That's how we're on this mess. Plus, I had 10 years of John Gregg, so I've got a good excuse, you know what I mean?
I think Ollie's right, GB, about Morelos. He's a different beast nowadays as Alfredo. You know, he was really greedy, and there was loads of times, you know, when his first couple of seasons at Rangers, there'd be times when there'd be a pass on, or he could bring somebody else into the game. But he was just so one-directional. Now, you see the amount of work he does now, and, you know, leading that line, and then, come back into the midfield, take the ball, move it quickly, move it out to the wings quickly when players are available and free, brings players into the game, and he still scores goals. And I don't know how many times I've said this, but if we were to lose Alfredo and we had to replace him, how do you replace what Alfredo gives us? That's going to take a lot of money, man. He's a great player in my opinion.
Lads, see if he's on no talking, he's going mute for us, because we can hear that he's in the background talking to folk. Lads, he going mute if he's on no talking, all right? Carol, take that point of you. Have you hat-trick the night for Morelos?
Oh, great. Good to have him in the team. If he's available, you play him. What else have we got up front, really? He put in, and with no roof, you can shove in Itten, but Itten never gets a ball in the box. You know what I mean? He doesn't get any service. He's running about trying to hold the ball up, and nobody's coming towards him. So I think Itten's, you need to feed him boys in the box, And we didn't do that the first game, and I don't want to talk about that game. I will talk about the second game. Why weren't we wearing our royal blue shirts? Why did we go? That would burn them. The purple things.
Right, watch the damage, lads. We've obviously covered Morelos and stuff like that. So, on to our big star man, Kent. Time for him to show some form tonight. Go to Andy with that one.
See, Kent, I think he needs to man up there and stand up now, because you think to be honest with you, we know he's got to form him in there, so this could be a good enough game to get him back on track, couldn't it? Get him going, create a couple of chances, so hopefully, they'll go. Well, you're hoping, aren't you, that the fact that they were out, as Ox said last night, I think no matter what happened there was it Wednesday, Tuesday we played them, he would have made day changes for the Dunfermline game, but surely there must be, some of the guys should be looking in the mirror and saying, come on, I need to get back out there and show what we showed last season. If we get that, then we're all going to be happy again, aren't we? We're only critique on the particular game that you see them in. And we're only being honest that the guys at the moment are just not playing well. Then you can't sugarcoat it and say, aye, they're playing all right when they're not. You just got to say it as it is and just hope that they come good.
Yep. Rudy?
I think Kent on his game, at the top of his game, I think he's unplayable. I read, I think it was Considine up at Aberdeen said they sit down before a Rangers game and they discuss how they're going to stop Kent, and nobody comes up with any ideas because they don't know how to stop him. That was an Aberdeen player that said that. Kent on top of his game, nobody can do for us what Kent does. Nobody moves the ball as quickly as Kent does, especially with the ball at his feet, the way he takes players on. Unfortunately, at the start of this season, he's just not hit his form yet. But he'll come good, hopefully sooner rather than later. The good performance against Dunfermline the other night, he'll have sat and watched that. Scott Wright scored a cracker of a goal. He's got to be looking at that as well. So he's another one that's got to be thinking, right, I'm going to have to get myself into the swing of things here. Hopefully that's tonight, GB.
Yep. Wally?
Aye, what you're saying there about Scott Wright, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
No.
He's
Ryan Kent,
as well. And obviously he's going to give Kent some competition. We know he's not half as good or anywhere near as good as Kent, but the bottom line is, if it's going to push him, it's like McLaughlin pushing McGregor. We know how good Shagger is, but at the end of the day, he knows what McLaughlin's breathing down his neck. Obviously, I don't see him playing McLaughlin in a European game for obvious reasons, but in the same token, he's a good stand-in. God forbid anything happens to Shagger. He might have had that kid on his knee at the start of last season. Yeah. And apart from the goal he let in at Easter Road, but we should have won that game. Last season it wasn't McLaughlin's fault. Again, it was the defence. You can go back to that Tranmere game in the friendlies, and that's how Gerard went off his nut. The boys scored a brilliant goal to win the game, but the defence should have had that ball well away. The boys should never have got near it. And I just feel that we're penalised. See this carry on that they're playing half a season before we're even kicking a ball. I know we should be up to speed and blah, 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 but you know what I mean? It's,
we'll come back
like
to
it or no, because of the way we enter this competition. You know, they're all fitter than us, much fitter than us, sharper than us. So it's a lot to step up so quick. Although it's not an excuse, don't get me wrong, they should be up to speed and all that, but it's understandable that they're no. Just because of the way the competition is. You know, the way that we're entering the competition when they've played, whatever, 15, 16 games, it's obvious they're going to be sharper and quicker and, you know what I mean?
Aye, we'll come back to that, We'll come back to that.
You know?
We'll come back to it. Carol, just back to Ryan Kent. We're hoping for a good game off him tonight.
He better get a good game or he can forget about Sunday, can't he? If he doesn't have a good game.
That's it.
About that, about not being fit, you know, the start of the season. Well, maybe if the other teams had pulled their weight for a few years when we weren't getting into Europe, we wouldn't need to start as early as this.
Aye, that's a monkey mob for you, but innit? You know,
not just the monkey mob, you've got the sheepshaggers and...
Yeah, keep it to Rangers, boys. Keep it to Rangers, boys, all right? So, keep it to the game tonight. We want to talk about the game tonight and how we're going to
the game tonight, we better win it. And I'll go now because I've got to get down on the flare on my knees and try to get my computer to get the Rangers game on, okay? Good night, lads. We are a people.
All right, take care. Cheers.
Cheers, Carl.
Cheers, Carl. Yeah.
I think Kent will turn it on tonight, just to get back to that, because this is his stage. You know what I mean? The European stage is where he performs, really.
Yeah.
The problem you've got is whether they stick with maybe 2 or 3 on top of him as soon as he gets the ball, which is
if that's the case, though, that frees up space for the midfield and stuff. You know, the likes of Lundstrom and that to come through. You know, frees up space for Hadji if that's the case in Morel. They're going to stick 2 and 3 players on them, you know, either in the midfield. It'll leave gaps in their midfield. If their defenders are going to try and pull that one, it'll leave space at the back. And for what I've read about them, they're absolutely atrocious at the back at times. Their goalkeeper apparently is just horrendous. So that's another point I was going to make a wee bit ago. The likes of Kent, they should be shooting for the edge of that 18-yard box. Because apparently this goalie there is the night. We see this. He'll have a world day the night.
That's always the same, isn't it? It's always the same. Jamie's life stuff against the Rangers. You know what I mean?
Shooting for the edge of that 18-yard box, putting pressure on him for the very first whistle, you know.
Andy, are you hoping for a 5-0 tonight?
I've got one on at 7, by the way. I only got 66 for it, by the way. You know, I mean, some of the bet I took the 5s and that right enough, and there was nothing. You know, 10 to 1 upwards right enough. So, you know, that tells you what the bookies think of the level of that team, innit? You know, if you're getting nothing for, like you said, hey, God, you should be getting something. But, you know, they're put a bet, so that tells you what they're actually thinking of that team. Like I say, I'll be amazed if we don't rattle these. I really will. I think we're going to sit about these early doors, get that first couple of goals, and then it's up to us then. And if we get 2 goals up, like 20, 25 minutes, don't mess about. Just go and pile on them. Get as many as you can. Get the tie out there. Because I want this done as quick as we can tonight. Because I'm really more concerned about. I know dangers, like where you can never say that about us not getting a result tonight. I'm more worried about Sunday. I really am. I'm not wanting to drop anything up there. That attitude's got to be bang on there Sunday. You know what I mean? Because we know what's coming the following week. So, you know.
Well said, man. Well said. Rudy, I'm going to come back to a point that actually Wally made about how Kent and Morelos thrive on the European nights. But do you know another player that's in the squad tonight that thrives off European nights is Mr. Hadji.
Oh, Hadji. I mean, I mentioned this the other night, GB. I think, I can't remember what it was Oxchair was talking about, but whatever it was, I mentioned Hadji's performance against Braga. He got his 2 goals that night and just absolutely ran that second half. I thought he was outstanding. And Hadji's got that in him. He really has. I think the European football suits Hadji better than Scottish football does. I think he gets a bit more time on the ball. I think his passing ability is absolutely outstanding. Think back to his pass for the Scott Wright's goal against Dunfermline. That was just a brilliant pass. But I think he gets a bit more time in the body being European football. I think it's more suited to him, So hopefully, he proves that the night again. But the boy's got talent, It's unfortunate that he's not got that wee bit of extra pace. I think that's about the only thing that lets him down, And I used to think he was a wee bit lightweight, so I did, I used to think he hit the ground too easily. But what I've kind of realised about him is he actually gets up and gets on with it. He gets battered for pillar to post sometimes, and he still gets up and just gets on with the game. So hopefully this European run that we're just about to go on, Hadji proves himself to us once again.
No. Well, Hadji's got a good attitude to the game, hasn't he?
Listen, I told you right for the off, right? Hadji's a football player. See this, he's not got any pace. The boy's got a left foot, he's got a right foot, he's got a football brain nearly as good as Stephen Davis. He can see 3 passes before anybody else can see it. And he's always done the damage. I don't get this, he hasn't got any pace. For Christ's sake, David Weir never had any pace.
No.
They never let us down at the back.
I just meant, see if he did have that wee bit extra pace, Willie, I just think he'd be the complete player. But I totally agree with you on talent. I think he's brilliant. He's passing, he's thinking ahead. I think he's absolutely top notch at that. I think he's to me, he's your proper European football player. All I meant about the pace thing was, see if he had that wee bit of extra pace, he might not be at Rangers. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
Listen, I was only 6 numbers after lottery again the other week. You know what I mean?
you can buy him the pace then, Willie.
If you're any head boys, you know what I mean?
Easy. Andy, you a Hadji fan?
I wasn't at first, right enough. I thought the problem was, as Rudy just said there, that the Scottish football was a bit physical for him. But I actually thought, I know it was only 20 minutes against Livingston at the start there. But up until he got that injury, he looked very good. He looked like he said, right, I know I'm going to get kicked up and down in Scotland, but I'm going to adapt my game a wee bit. Unfortunately, he took the injury. He looked good. He was skinning that defender of theirs for fun. Then he got his goal, and then they took him out. So I'm hoping when he comes back fully fit that, he's going to say, right, I'm up for this. I've got Scottish football. I've been here long enough now. I'm going to show him that I can play on both fronts. So, yeah, I do hope it comes good for the boy, because he's undoubtedly got plenty of talent. So, yeah, let's hope he does. I mean, if it comes good, it's good for the Rangers, isn't it? So, yeah, let's have it. And whether we like it or not, or whatever we think about him, Gerrard seems to put a lot of faith in him, doesn't he? So, so that's how I'm looking. I just hope it comes good for it, because it would be good. In Scotland, you see, they're just going to kill him. That's the problem we've got with Hadji there. You can see them blatantly looking for him when he's on the back and saying, right, where is he? He's getting it. As Rudy says, he does bounce up pretty quicker than what a lot of us probably thought he did.
Yeah.
Well, lads, it has flew by for the pre-match show. You have done brilliant. Some great points, and hopefully now we just march on to a great, fantastic win tonight. I just want to thank you all for phoning in. So I'll thank Andy, and I'll thank Willie, and I'll thank Carol, and I'll thank my partner in crime tonight, Big Rudy. Thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, GB.
And a wee thank you to Old School Blue there for the technicals tonight. And enjoy this wee tune to get you up for the game tonight. We'll see you after the match from 10 o'clock to 11 for some post-match reaction. Enjoy.
You, my heart's on fire. Come to me wild and wide. Oh, you come to me. Give me everything that I need. Give me a lifetime of promises and a world of dreams. Speak the language of love like you know what it means. Oh, I can't be wrong. Take my heart and make it stronger, babe. You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I've ever met. Stuck on your heart, us apart. Baby, I would rather be dead. In your heart, I see the start of every night and every day. In your arms, I get lost and I get washed away. Just as long as I'm here in your arms, I could be in no better place. You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I've ever made. Stop